Everybody, this is John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speed Selling. This is Raging Verbalist number 117. And before I even do any introductions, before I ever even say hello to the lovely Sandra, hello, Sandra. Before I even,
Hello.
is that of course the Los Angeles Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals. It was a nail biter. I DVR'd it, so now I can watch it in much more comfort, much more relaxed. And people say, "Well, John, that isn't as exciting." Yeah, but it's better for my heart. And all I can say is that they won 23-20. They're Super Bowl champions. That's very cool. First time ever in LA. I was a season ticket holder for years before they abandoned us. I'm not a season ticket holder now. But anyway, that's really cool. But they didn't cover the spread for all of you bettors out there. And we were talking about the over and under. Well, the over and under, I think, was 48, and it came in at 43. So all you under bettors, made out and did all that. So that's your update. There's your wire news. So all right, so let's talk about the Raging Verbalist. Is I come on, we talk about a variety of different topics, and as always, we have the lovely Sandra. Once again, we introduce you. Because of course, introducing you not once but twice, of course.
That's right. 3 times a lady, Kenny Rogers, right?
There you go. And by the way, since we didn't even hum anything, it's all fair use. It's crazy. But if you say the name of the mouse, Disney may come after you. So you just you just have to fill in the blank yourself. So all right. So what are we talking about today? And of course, people, before we get to that, you can always go to the Facebook group, Position to Win book Facebook group. You can put your comments, put your stuff in there. Also, you can go to the YouTube channel, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all of the other stuff, hit it. So now we've done that, and let's let us go.
All right. So catch 22. So what is numerology all about?
Well, and the reason why we're talking about this today is that next Tuesday, which of course is the second day of the week, depending upon how you figure out your weeks, because it starts with Monday and goes to Sunday, is going to be all twos, right? It's February is the second month. It's the 22nd day. The year is 2022. This has not happened before, right? Sandra, this is brand new.
Not that I know of. Yeah, exactly. So Tuesday. There you go.
Tuesday. So we're gonna dig into a little bit about numerology. So numerology, for those of you who may or may not know what it is considered a pseudoscience. For all you true believers out there, don't give me a hex or something, okay? I got enough issues. I don't need a hex. But what it is it talks about there's this divine or mystical relationship between numbers and what is going to happen in your life. And it's, so we can see off into the future, and numerology is kind of an interesting thing. Now, during my Vegas days, I saw people with every kind of mechanism looking for ways to beat the system and to make this thing work. And people would show up and they would have all kinds of stuff. And in fact, now I think at one point in time, there was a numerology calculator. So you could plug in your stuff, and, because of course, when they were just coming out with calculators, every calculator in the world had a different way to do it. But anyway, that's what it is now. By the way, this has been going on for centuries. This is predates, like the 5th, 8th, I guess it's 8th century BC is where we first start seeing people doing magical things with numbers. But here's the funny little thing. The word numerology wasn't really coined or used until, and that's why you come to this. Let me make sure I get my dates right. When did it show up? Come on, 1907. So it's kind of a youngster. But what it was always about is that you would take numbers and you would develop those numbers and find out, and it could tell you about what was going to happen to you. Are you going to be successful in life, in love, in money, and all of that. And people get really serious about it. Now, the interesting thing about the number 22, and we'll get into this a little bit deeper, is that 22 is considered a master number in numerology. So just keep that in mind. It's considered a master number. And of course, we're going to have all twos real soon.
All right. So as the calendar marches forward, is it just a coincidence that Tuesday is going to be Tuesday?
I saw what you did there. So, yeah. So I do not know many numerologists. I don't hang with the numerology crowd and all of that. But I bet that when they figured this out, their little toes were a tapping and their fingers were a tingling and got excited. I would deem it a coincidence. Some people call it synchronicity. For those who don't know, synchronicity was a concept that Carl Jung, that was Freud's best student, some would call, but Jung called this thing synchronicity, where things lined up mysteriously and took place. And in this case, all of you who are scientifically oriented will say pure coincidence. All of you who are true believers will say the universe aligned, all the tumblers fell into place, all the things will click and go in there, and amazing things will happen. So all of you who are out there, I just want you to do something really spectacular on Tuesday, the 22nd of the second month of the 2022. Now, understand that there's a lot of different calendars out there. I mean, we of course feel that our calendar is the best calendar, and I don't know if it's like our calendar can kick your calendar's ass or something. I don't know. Kind of gets to that, but we all have a sense of that. So for those who are measuring this whole thing out, yes, Tuesday should be an alignment of the stars for all of you. And I'm not going to stop you. I mean, if now I can tell you what you should be doing that day, which is, going to positiontowinbook.com and saying, yes, John prophesied that I would be there buying his book, which that would be cool. But anyway, that's so yeah, I think it's more of a coincidence, but it is a big deal because numerology people really are excited about this whole thing and what it means and what it can mean. And in fact, there's been a lot of study of this, and it is global, by the way. So don't feel like you are just taken in by this. There is a huge global thing. The Chinese do it, India, you name it, everybody does this. And numerology is like one of those things. And this is just like, the personification of it, which is why we're talking about it.
All right. So I know you like the book and the movie Catch 22. So what's the story kind of about that?
So Catch 22, for those of you who have not seen it, hint, hint, for those of you who have not seen it.
Bad student here. Didn't do my homework.
or read the book, which is 500 plus pages. Is that it's interesting because Catch 22 is basically the absurdity of life, where you can't get a job unless you're in the union. You can't join the union unless you have a job. So it's those opposing forces that stop things from working out and going forward. So that's basically a Catch 22. Now, Joseph Heller wrote this book. He was a bombardier in World War II, and he wrote this book over years and years and years. And of course, we can see this absurdity all around us on a regular basis whenever you try to interact in bureaucracies of small and large. I've never seen that. They always have like the book animals big and small, but they never have like bureaucracies big and bloated. I mean, maybe that would be like a series I should write. So he writes this book and he says, I think I've got this thing. And it just is this kind of, this illogical, immoral methodology that just exists. And I do agree that it exists. It is out there. It is quite amazing. And so he's writing this book, and I'm talking about for 10 years. And he says, I'm going to test out the first chapter. So as early as 1955, he goes out and he tries it out. But he knows it's a catch, and a catch is something that, it stops you from doing something. It just pulls at you. But he wants to, he just can't call it the catch, because the catch would mean a baseball catch, or, I caught something and, now I got to go to the doctor and get rid of it kind of thing, or, but the catch is, so he came up with, I'm going to call it catch 18. So it comes up with catch 18, and catch 18 was pretty cool. And then his agent said, hey, wait a second. There's Leon Uris has Mila 18, and this has implications in Judaism. And so he's already got it. So 18, got to check it off the list, got to come up with a different catch, which in itself is kind of, isn't it ironic, right? So he comes up with that and he goes, okay. So I'm going to come up with another one. So he says, all right, so how about we're going to do, because the book hasn't come out yet, even though he's been at it 10 years. So he goes, all right, I got it. I'm going to come up, I'll call it Catch 11. Now, this is long before you had search and replace on computers and doing all that. I'm going to call it Catch 11. And wouldn't you know, a motion picture comes out in 1960 called Ocean's 11. Okay, 11's out. Check off that one. He goes, okay, how about I call it Catch 17? Sounds pretty catchy, except, well, then there's a World War II movie, and this is a World War II story, Catch 22 is, and we're going to call it Catch 17, but there's this movie called Stalag 17. Yikes, we're running out of stuff. Then somebody said, well, how about we'll call it Catch 14? We'll go with Catch 14. And the publisher said, no, we don't like that one. That's just not funny enough. So what they did was they said, let's come up with, okay, we got it. Here it is. We're going to come up with Catch 22. It's double 11. So we're just going to call it Catch 22. And that stuck. And because it stuck, that became what we now know as Catch 22. Now, the interesting thing about it is that this ends up being a pretty interesting positioning situation. And for those of you who have not figured out your own position, this becomes a really important factor, because as he starts selling the book, as things go on, I mean, he could have described it a lot of different ways, but by just calling it Catch 22, what he ends up stumbling upon is what we talk about in the book. Most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it. Position to win. If you're going to win, you have to have a position which is unique, a position that grabs people's attention, and a position which really makes it easy for people to understand who and what you're doing. So they came up with it, and it's great because Catch 22, for anybody who has seen the movie, read the book, or dealt with bureaucracies, they've dealt with this. So it's easy to grasp and understand. So when you're going to put together your business, what you want to do is you want to go to positiontowinbook.com, positiontowinbook.com. Lots of cool free stuff. Plus, you can go buy the book from us directly. I'll autograph it for you. In fact, if you say, John, Catch 22, we might even give you even a little special bonus. Also, you can go to Barnes & Noble, go to Amazon, go to Books A Million, wherever books are sold, and say, I want me some, that's bad English, I need me some, I have to have, most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. Also, you can get it in every digital format, Apple, Nook, Kindle. And then, of course, the other book that we have out is Remote Work for a Better World, and check it out. So if you do all of that, then you will hopefully avoid some of the Catch 22s. Ironically, I have always joked that Catch 22 for organizations that I have worked with, for organizations that I have fixed, for organizations that I have done over the years, that customers, clients, everybody in between, that the book and the movie, but the book in particular, is really a training manual for the absurdity of how bureaucracies grow to the level of just inanity is the right word, not insanity, but inanity. Look it up. All right. So what do we have next, Fair Sandra?
All right. So why are there so many superstitions about numbers?
Well, and this is where you have to be really careful in the world, by the way, because in the Western world, the number 13 is unnerving to people. Quick true story. I'm sitting there and I'm coming up with this pitch. And I always like to do what's called a baker's dozen. For those of you who don't know what a baker's dozen is, it's 12 plus 1 because, you might screw up, who knows, the donut doesn't come out right, or this doesn't happen, or that doesn't happen. And the person who I was working with, those seemingly logical adult, said, "We can't do that, John. That has the number 13. So he got so wigged out about that he would never do 13. Though I like to always do 13 because there's a certain amount of angst that it gives people. So people become superstitious about 13, and there are many, many buildings that do not have the 13th floor. It goes from the 12th to the 14th, and that way we skip the unlucky 13. 13 is unlucky, so we don't do that. Now, if you go to Asia, lots of cultures in Asia, the number 4, quattro, is not good. And in fact, it's considered very bad form because it's like when you say 4, it sounds like death. And all I can say is, okay, I respect other cultures, but people have superstitions all around the world. Also, depending upon how you show certain symbols, you may in fact insult a group of people. And so you just got to know that, don't go foreign. And I don't know how you can even play golf without, yelling 4. So maybe you say 6 or 3 or 22 in certain countries. But there you go. That's the dichotomy. But there's superstitions all around the world about numbers. People have lucky numbers. People have unlucky numbers. And I can tell you, having hung out in Vegas for that time, is to watch people. And if somebody thought they had a lucky number, they would do the weirdest things. And in fact, I saw a person change hotel rooms because he was given a hotel room. This is in Caesar's Palace. I was standing behind the guy. We both have some kind of VIP thing. And they're giving this guy this wonderful suite. Now, for those of you who've never had the fun of it, people will say, John, when you close your eyes, it's all the same. Yeah, except it's really kind of cool patting you around in your little Caesar's robe with your little Caesar's slippers, walking around in a suite, and all that stuff. Anyway, so the guy said, "Oh, I can't take that room. That is my unlucky number." It was a 4-digit number. I mean, I don't know how that number became that. Anyway. So, got to switch me. She goes, "Well, we don't have his nice room." He goes, "I don't care. I'll take the, And I stepped up and I said, "I'll take his room." And she goes, "Well, no. You're not paying enough for that room." I said, "But you were planning, he was going to have it. Was I going to get his style room?" And she goes, "Well, kind of." I said, "Oh, so why don't you just give me his room?" So we did a switch, though I never saw him and he never knew this. So I took his unlucky room and I had a 1,100 square foot suite in Caesar's Palace, which I could tell you, I don't know how unlucky it was. It seemed perfectly comfortable and perfectly nice. And and I still have the slippers. So that had to be good. So.
Did you save the 4-digit number? Maybe that's your new lucky number. There you go.
Yeah, after my Vegas experience, I've tried to cleanse myself because it's easy to have super superstition about stuff, and if you have crazy superstitions, things can get you get a little, that OCD thing starts going on in your head, and before you know it, who knows what happens,
There you go.
Before you know it, you're strapped to a gurney with your eyes just moving back and forth quickly.
All right. With that, how does numerology tie into astrology and other things?
So we talked about it as a pseudoscience. So there are so many ways because humans have wanted to know, and I wonder about animals have it easier in a way. Think about it. If you're like a dog, you get up, scratch yourself, you go eat, you go take care of your business. It's kind of easy. You're not thinking about this stuff, but humans have tried to understand what's going on in the future for a very long time. I mean, and famous people. It's why when somebody was making fun of, I think it was Nancy Reagan had an astrologer or something, And I go, and of course, the people who were really making fun of her were people who didn't like her. But the reality of it is that these types of looking to gaze into the future have been going on for a long time. So imagine that you are Alexander the Great. I mean, you weren't Alexander the Great. You were just little Al at that point in time, I think. And his mom drags him off to the Oracle of Delphi. And the Oracle of Delphi was a seer into the future. And she said, you are going to be a great man. You're going to be a great king. You're going to be a great conqueror. You're going to conquer the known world. You are going to do something that no one else has done. I mean, that's got to be a really good feeling. And then, of course, he went out and he did it. Of course, his mom had to do a little gerrymandering to make the whole thing work out. But people love to do this because, it just makes people feel great to think they can see the future, which is why my co-conspirator, co-author of the book, and I don't know if he coined the phrase, but I'll give him credit for it. But Gabe Batista came up with this: you can make more money as an astrologer than as astronomer, because people, though they want to look and gaze up to the stars, they want to know how the stars are going to make them a bunch of money and become rich and all of those things. So you can do well with that. But yeah, people, it's tied in with astrology. It's tied into other things. And I imagine that as we go forward, there will be even more methods that we will look for in the future to see how we can know what's going to happen in the future.
All right. So what will you do to celebrate all of these twos on Tuesday?
Well, as we were getting ready for this, because of course I wanted to see how far down the rabbit hole I could go, is that I found out that the number 22 in numerology is considered the master builder. It's considered the most powerful number of all, and it brings out intuitive and idealistic qualities. And I mean, it's going to be there. So I think I'm going to sit there and do lots of cool stuff on it, because I why not see if I can take advantage of it, and and see if they're right, they're right. If all the tumblers aligned, I mean, if I hit the jackpot, well, this might be the last Raging Verbalist, might be it. I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to cherish my Tuesday to perfection. So how about yourself? What will you be doing with it? And do you have any association with twos yourself? I mean, are you a twin?
No, I'm not a twin.
How do we know? I mean, there might be somebody. Okay.
What if I'm the twin talking right now?
Yeah.
You don't know. Nobody knows, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
exactly.
So how about you and your Tuesday?
Yeah, so I don't know what exactly I'll do to celebrate per se, but so my husband's grandfather, he always said his lucky number was 222. He would always, whenever we'd visit, he'd point it out in the car. Look, that's 222. I'm not sure where it came from. He doesn't know where it came from, and just he would always say it constantly. And so I know that they have the 222 you can order at Village Inn, and he liked Village Inn. I don't think it started there because it was prior to that, but but we'll have to go to Village Inn and order the 222. There you go. Good plan, right?
It's a perfect plan. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
Village Inn is a pancake house chain through the Midwest and part of the West in the U.S. So if you're ever traveling and you wanna see what Sandra's husband's grandfathers would eat,
Exactly.
That's your quest. That's your vision quest. There you go. Some people need more, some people need less, but there you go. So, well, with that, on this very special, and we couldn't wait for Raging Verbalist 222. We had to do it on number 117 because, well, the calendar waits for no one. So I'll leave you all with this. Go have a great weekend, a great Tuesday. And yeah, think about it. What kind of fun things would you do? Also, send us some comments if you have some interesting numerology that rolls around in your head. I can tell you that I always love the number 8 for one simple reason. Not after I went to Vegas, but for one simple reason. The very first times I was ever at a racetrack as a kid, and yes, they used to let your parents could take you there. My aunt was my godmother, gambled all the time, and we're sitting there, and this horse is there, and of course they say, and they say, John, who do you want to bet on? And of course my mother was going to front me the $2. $2. And I looked up and I saw this incredibly, and I could just still see it in my mind, this incredible black horse that was the number 8. And I said, I want that horse. And my uncle, who was fancied himself as a handicapper, no, he wasn't, but he said, no, that horse will never win. And I said, I don't care. I'm betting $2 on that horse. And that horse was a long shot and came in, and I learned the value of how odds work. And I said, wow, this is great. Now let's just keep doing that. But my $2 turned into $22, twos, and there you go. So that was my lucky number. So with that, go out and have a great Tuesday. Celebrate your twos. Always do whatever you need to do to make yourself wealthy and healthy and wise and happy and all of that. But just remember that somewhere out there, those numbers are clicking away for you. And with that, I want to thank the lovely Sandra for coming on the show, and more importantly for all of you. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and send us a comments, because the Raging Verbalist is done, because we're going to be lining up our twos for Tuesday.